I was raised with both parents, but at a point my mom abandoned us. It really impacted me. I was really hurt. Both me and my brother, we looked into gangs. He ended up getting murdered in 1999. I just remember holding my dad's hand and just saying, you know, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. My name is Olga Ramirez. I was born and raised in Chicago, and my mom left us, abandoned us. Later on to find out my mom had left my dad for another man. So she completely left him, moved to another state, but we didn't know none of this until like probably months later. I just had to take over and just start cooking and just taking care of my siblings and my dad. Both me and my brother, we joined a gang. You know, just to feel like a family, just have all those people around us. There was a couple of times just being close of losing my life. And I'm thinking like, what am I doing? Like, what am I really doing here? When I met my husband, it was like kind of like that hope, like, oh, I found somebody, like everything's gonna be good, you know? He encouraged me like to go back to school or follow your dreams, you know? And so I like that about him, that he was always willing to encourage me and try to help me out in any way I can. We ended up getting married, and then we had our firstborn. Finally, I'm gonna have my own family. I'm gonna, you know, everything that I wanted just to, you know, have that unity. The detectives came that night to the house. I heard the knocking, and I heard some talking. My husband was the one that opened the door. And when he came down, he just came and he's like, we need to go to the hospital right now. We get to the hospital, and they were working on my brother. You know, it's funny how when you're going through something, that's when you reach out to God. And I remember in that moment, I was just like, God, I'll change, I'll do this, I'll do that. And so right when I told myself, like, you know, it's gonna be okay because we're gonna do this and this and this and that. The doctors, I remember seeing the doctor coming down the hallway. And as soon as he locked eyes on me, he just started nodding his head. I just remember holding my dad's hand and just saying, you know, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. My comfort was being at home and knowing that everybody that I loved was right next to me. I mean, I had severe anxiety where I couldn't even step out the house. I couldn't drive, I couldn't do anything. Like, I just felt like I had to have somebody with me at all times. And then my husband gets sick. One heartbreak after another was just like, oh, when is this gonna stop? He actually had respiratory failure. And they were working on him, and worked and worked and worked on him. And I remember the doctors, like, they would kick me out the room. And finally they got him back, and they had to intube it, you know, put the tube in him. And I remember them coming out and saying, there's a possibility that he may not make it. So for 2 weeks, praying, saying, God, don't take him from me. Don't take him, like, I don't think I could handle this. He woke up. What the doctor said, that, you know, he wasn't gonna walk, that he wasn't gonna be able to talk. He wasn't able to work anymore. We had lost our house. And I remember that he would look at me and he would tell me, like, why are you so happy? Like, every time I see you, you're walking, you have this grin on your face. He goes, everything's falling apart in our life. And I remember smiling, and I'm like, it's God. At that season, God placed amazing people in my life. And they started sowing seeds in me. They started showing me how to read the Bible, how to go and get verses from the Bible. When I would have an anxiety, instead of reaching out for a pill, I would reach out to the Word of God. And it started to work. There was just something in me that I knew things were falling apart, but I had a peace in me, something that I hadn't had for a while. I remember I decided to take the bold step to get baptized. So I had a great friend that came, and she would come, sit down in the kitchen table, and here would come my husband and sit by us. And he would listen. You could kind of say that while I was getting mentored, he was getting mentored too. It was time for me to get baptized. And I remember every baptism Sunday, I'll get up, I was so nervous. He would get sick, and I had to rush him to the hospital. He'll look at me, he'd be like, I'm so sorry. He pointed at his trach and he said, when they take this off of me, he goes, I want to get baptized too. So that just like literally was like, wow. This is a man that just like, he didn't want to know anything about God. I think in his own way, he was mad at God. I'll never forget, he comes up to me and he tells me, he's like, Olga, you know, I owe you so much. He goes, so I was thinking, I want to make it up to you. I want to go to church with you one Sunday. So I was like, what? Like, you're going to New Life with me. And I was like, are you sure you want to go? And he's like, yeah. He goes, but one time, Olga. I'm like, all right. And then he looked at me. He's like, I'm Catholic, so don't expect me to change. And I was like, nobody wants you to change. Like, and I remember telling him, I'm like, you know what? If you want to leave, we could go to, we could go home. And he looked at me like, I think he felt convicted. He said that and he was like, no. He goes, let's try it. And we sat in the back. We're sitting right in the back of New Life. And I remember that we were worshiping, and I don't know what made me turn to my left. And when I looked, he was arms raised open, like his arms were high, and he was just crying. He was bawling. You got a 6'2", he was a big guy, and you just seen him in his emotion and in the presence of God. And that's when to me, that was just like the most beautiful feeling. I was just like, this is home. A few months after that, on May 30th, he passed away. And it was hard because this is my best friend, somebody that was always there for me. But I felt so much comfort, and I knew God was with me because I was like, I just kept thinking to myself, he accepted you, God. He knows who you are, and I know where he's at. And that just brought so much comfort to me, that I believe that God did all this everything that I was going through to show me that I'm with you and I'm never gonna abandon you. My name is Olga Ramirez. I was once lost and broken, but now I have found a new life.